Okay. So the first bubble will go to you when you can see it.
Okay. Or I have Mokuro still. 持
Nice.
ち込みしたいんですけど、で、テルすれば会えるんだろう。So I believe that means um, is that you want to bring your own, you say, why can't you call and just meet? If you call, you can just meet, right?
Yeah. Yes, that is what he says. If you call, you can just meet with them, right? If you want to go bring in a
Yeah.
manuscript. Exactly. あえけど、持ち込む原稿まだねえじゃん. He says, well, of course I want to meet them, but we don't have a manuscript we can bring in with us. Next bubble for you.
最高、連載するとしたら、ジャンプだよな。So it's like Psycho is like if you want to wait, if you serialize it in
No, you want
Jump,
to be
hmm?
serialized. Well, if
Yeah, you
I
want to be
guess
serialized in Jump, right?
yeah, if I guess literally says if we're to be serialized, it'd be in jump, right? Would be like a
Yeah.
literal. Want this feels better in English, I feel like. アニメか目標だし、それにはジャンプが一番いいと思ってる. Yeah, I mean, since we're trying to aim to become a manga, I mean, an anime after all, Jump, is the very best for that purpose. And I'm gonna do the next one. 俺も日本一狙うならジャンプって思ってる. Me as well, because I want, like, my goal, right, is to become the number one mangaka in Japan. So because of that, Jump is what I think would be the better magazine to do. So the next bubble here goes to you, Cookie.
つまり, in other words, Jump ジャンプ集英社じゃなきゃ、どんなダメ、原稿でもいいんじゃね。um, I think the first bit means if it's not the Jump publishing company, or if it shouldn't be, can't be. Is that right?
Well, the translating of the first line depends on the context of the sentence, so it's not like you translated that line incorrectly. It's more about how it works, how you flow the whole sentence. But literally, it says,
Okay.
if not jump is the literal translation of that. But he's probably more likely saying, like, contextually must, right? Since we gotta go
Yeah.
with jump, right? That's more the context we're going with it. So we think the nakya as the nakereba naranai nakya. But that's it
Okay.
will not happen if we do not do it this way.
Yep. So if we have to do Jump, どんなダメ、原稿でもいいんじゃね。I think he's saying like it shouldn't matter what kind of manuscript we submit, even if it's bad.
That's basically what he's saying. Kind of the idea is that you might make a manga, right? And you love this manga, and you'll offer it to an editor, and they might say, "Sorry, we don't want this." You have basically two choices then. You can either make a new manga and bring it to that same editor, or you could go to a different publisher and see if they like that manuscript instead. So since their goal is only Jump, that means that they're probably going to have to bring in multiple manuscripts into Jump of different things. If Jump says no, well, go home, make something new. Versus if they didn't actually care that much about which manga editor place they're going to, they could try a different place, a different publisher, submit the same work, maybe did some small tweaks or something to get what they want. So his idea is like, well, no, since we're aiming for the top of the line, most biggest manga thing ever, we're probably going to have to bring in a whole bunch of manuscripts that they're not going to like before we actually get ahead. Uh,
I
versus
was under the impression that they're trying to basically understand what Jump is about and potentially
That
get
is
some
what they're doing.
relations.
Correct.
Yeah, so
That is
that's
our
why I was thinking,
context.
okay,
I was more
we should just
translating
submit
what the
whatever
sentence
and
was
see what they
saying.
want. Yeah.
That is the second
Oh yeah.
sentence, I believe.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
read it out loud yet, but that is what he's talking about. Yes, the idea, but he's giving the reason for that, right? This is the reason
Oh yeah.
behind the conclusion that you're saying out loud. So it's always the well, I think it was そのため原稿を見て編集がどういう反応を取るかを見に行く. See, that's exactly what you said a second ago, which is
Mm,
when they go over and look at this not very good manuscript, then the editor, right? We would come over to the place to get the information and receive the information from the editor. What kind of response do they give them, and use that as like a basis for stuff. So he's saying it doesn't matter how many bad manuscripts we bring, because we can take that information for that contextually because we have to go to Jump. We can't go to anywhere else. Um,
mm.
uh, next panel, we'll go to you.
俺が適当に話作って、最高が適当に絵、絵つけて。Okay, so I think this Shujin is trying to say, I'll make the story as best as I can.
Um,
Um,
I
and then,
I think Tikito is the opposite of that. I'll double
oh,
check
sorry.
though.
Yeah, so I'll just
Yeah,
make up a story of some kind, and then Psycho draws the pictures in whatever way he likes, something like
yeah.
that.
So tikito literally means appropriate, but it's used very much at the most minimum level of something that would get a pass for some kind of context. So he's basically saying rather than us trying to make the absolute best manuscript we can, we just gotta make something. We gotta get our draft down. Basically, we just gotta. I just gotta write something. You just gotta draw something. Let's not worry about making it perfect.
Hmm, fair enough. And then it's like 出版社厳格つうか、厳守関節。
Um, Kenkaku is like a field trip, like specifically a trip you go somewhere for an educational purpose. While kansatsu, right, is to observe something. So he's making a metaphor here, right? What is his metaphor?
It's like you go on a field trip to make an observation about something,
Exactly,
and then
about the editors,
you
basically.
learn about it. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what he's talking about. Going on a little field trip to the editor's house to go over and learn about editors. あ、やっぱダメだよな. Oh, so I guess it really is all bad. 俺、やじ馬根性、旺盛すぎ、最高適当に書くて嫌だろうし. He says, oh, sorry, my bad. I'm just always I get too carried away and I just do like I don't really think too deeply about things. It's like I'm sure you would absolutely hate just pathetically drawing rather than making like an amazing drawing of something. And then he says, "Yeah, no, I disagree." And then next panel goes to you.
And then it's like, やっぱ主人頭いいよ。あ、少年3にダメ原稿持ってこうぜ。It's like, as expected, that Shujin, you're really bright. That it's a title. It's like Shonen Suri. I'm not sure what
Mm-hmm.
that Suri
I,
is supposed to mean
I
exactly.
don't know either. I think
And
he's
yeah,
yeah.
and he says you have that Shonen 3 manga, or rather manuscript, that really bad manuscript, and let's use it. I think that's what he's indicating.
Yeah, we should use those three boy manuscripts. And he says,
Yeah.
yeah! And he does a little snort. そうと決まれば、仕事場行こう。どうでもいい話なら頭の中にあるから。He says, okay, then we've decided it. Then let's go head over. Okay, so it's been decided. Let's head over to the workplace then. Since I can do whatever story I want, there's a whole bunch of things floating in my head. And then the first bubble here goes to you.
Okay. It's like, あ、もうこんな時間が、俺、外、あ、で、飯食うで、テールすれば大丈夫だけど、so I think he's saying, oh, it's already like at this time, it's late or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Or, they gotta cut off their meeting now. And then Shujin says, I need to go outside and eat have a meal. Wait, no.
You're right.
Yeah, um I'll say that I went outside to have a meal. Um if you call me, that's fine.
I would guess he needs to call his parents because they're like middle school students, right? Oh my gosh, it's already this late. It should be fine as long as I call them saying, sorry, I went to go eat out, or I'm going to eat out, something like that, right? So
Yeah.
contractually, from the information we have of the characters, with the こんな時間, it definitely feels like the calling should be to his parents. 俺も最近そ
Yeah.
のパターン. He says, the same thing's been happening to me. I've been having to call my parents saying the same stuff. And the next bubble goes to you.
しかし、こう毎日だと、往復280円、きついな。定期買うか、チャリで、入ろうか。So I think it's like, but if I were to do this every day, the round trip fare will be 280 yen. That's pretty expensive, isn't it? Um, should I buy a fixed period or should I just go by bicycle?
Exactly. And the fixed period is talking about commuter pass.
Yep. And then it's like, oi, are前から美女三人. It's like, eh? It's like, there's three beautiful girls in front of us.
Exactly. What? Hazuki! Oh my gosh, it's Azuki! And this really shocked me because I had no memory that Azuki apparently had an Imoto. Who is this lady? Does she exist in the anime? No memory ever at all. Next panel goes back to you.
Okay. 正吾の妹いるってのは、知ってたけど、妹も可愛いな. It's like, the one the younger sister in fifth grade who's there, um, I know him, but no, I know her, but she's also cute.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. I knew about her. やべえね、どうしよう. Oh my gosh, what should we do? やべえじゃないだろう. 메르아도 키크 찬스장. This ain't bad at all. Isn't this the perfect opportunity for you to ask for their email? And next bubble goes to you.
Bakaina is like, that's a like dumb thing to say, or don't say that. Um, 強力な、um, 母親と一緒だぞ. Especially when, you know, it's like in front of the parent as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, in front of her super strong mother. I can't do something like that. 1
Yeah.
対1なら聞けんのかよ? Wait, you're saying you could ask her if they was just one by one? うるせえって! He's like, shut up, stop making fun of me. Um, And the next panel goes to you.
あー気づかないふりして、黙って通り過ぎるいいな。It's like they haven't noticed us yet. Let's pass by and say nothing.
Yep. Foodie. And he says, the foodie is to pretend you didn't notice anything. I don't know if you had the word pretend. I
Yeah.
felt like you didn't say the word pretend, but you could have, and it just didn't
Oh yeah, I
register.
didn't know.
Uh,
Yeah.
foodie, kizuku daro, muri ne. And he says, to pretend, isn't it like impossible not to notice them? Ikara. He says, just do it as I say. And then there's Azuki taking a little peek at him. Ah, Azuki mo kizuita mitai da. Oh, looks like Azuki also noticed that. Notice us. And that panel goes to you.
明らに、いや、明らかに顔赤くして、親の後ろに回った。He's like, her face clearly turned red, and she hid behind her parent.
実況しなくていい No. He says, you don't have to go tell me all about what's happening right at this moment. あら、ミホと同じクラスのお友達じゃない Oh, Miho, isn't this your friends from your class, Miho? And then the next panel here goes to you.
It's like, o ne, kao akai. He's like, big sister, your face is turning red, or is red. It's like, Mina Usai is like, shush. Mina is the younger sister. 親とい、親と一緒にいる、とこ見られたくないけど、no, 見ら、見られたくないだけ。I just don't want to be, I don't want to be seen.
Seen with what?
Oh, with my parent, with my mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
にしても、あずきも、さいこも、シャイだよな。よく同じ教室で知らんぶりしていられるよ。He says, well, even with that, we can see that both Isaac and Shadow are both shy, aren't they? Even in the same classroom, they pretend they don't know each other. 黙ってろって。And he says, I said, shut it. Oops. And then the next panel will be for you.
うん、絶対、絶対お母さん余計なこと言うと思いた、思った。Um, I think is like, I think for sure that the mum had something extra to say.
Yep, I thought for sure.
No, said oh no. It's not extra, it's unnecessary. Um I think the mum said something unnecessary
Uh, what does that mean?
to say. Yep.
Not really. It's to say is how we're doing it because we like words in dictionary form, but what tense is that?
Present?
It's not present tense. Dictionary form is almost always going to be future tense or it's habitual tense. In this context, future tense is the term we would click here. So he's basically, this is a way to say would, right? Because if he said ita, right, that's past tense. Ita, which would have been how you translated
Mm.
that sentence with the past tense. But with the future tense, we're talking about something that did not happen, but he thought was going to happen, right? Going for future tense. So, 余計なこと言うと思った means I thought she was going to say something unnecessary. The going to, the
Yep.
future tense. And then the last part.
何があらだよ? It was like, what was that? あら.
Oh my.
Yeah.
俺、吹いちゃった. He says, "Oh, sorry. I blew it as well." 僕が勇気を出し、振り向いてみると、偶然にあずきも振り向いた。And I decided to gather up my courage and peek behind myself. And when I do so, I see that Azuki, just by coincidence, has also turned to look behind. 時間が止まり、周りが透明になった。And it was as if time has come to a stop and our surroundings had turned transparent or clear. Like basically everything he can basically the only thing he can see is Azuki, right? Everything in the background can't see it anymore. And next bubble goes to you.
0.1、秒が10秒ぐらいに、感じ、我に、帰って焦って前を向く。So it's like a tenth of a a tenth of a second felt like 10 seconds. And uh, I came to my senses and then continued on forward.
だが、2、3秒後にまだ振り向いてる。However, in 2, 3 seconds later, I decided to turn back around again. And 遠くであずきもまた振り向いた. And Azuki in the distance has also turned around once again. And the next bubble goes to you.
僕とあずきは、周波数、周波数が、ぴったり合っているんだ. It's like me and Azuki had the same frequency of like meeting each other's eyes or turning
Mm-hmm.
around.
Totally, totally. And he's probably using it metaphorically to mean like we're so in sync, right?
Yeah.
With the literal part as well. 周波数、でも、あずきは10回振り向いて2回当たっただけかもしれ、かもじゃん. He says, you guys are super in sync, but you know, Azuki, she could have just been turned around like 10 times and only happened to meet the 2 times you turned around, right? なことね! And he says, stop saying something so unnecessary. Next bubble goes to you.
すげえな。周波数って感覚。俺にはわかんないから、うらや、羨ましいとしか言いようがない。I think he's like, that's amazing. The sense of having the same frequency. To me, that's not something I fully understand. So all I can really say is I'm jealous.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Nice. ぐるぐるぐる。spin, spin, spin. あずき、最初に見たの、小6の時なんだけど、the first time I ever met Azuki was in the sixth grade. 俺たち、明け小だしけど、あずき、明けに小じゃん. And he says, I don't know what akesho means. So, but he's saying probably like he was something and she was something else. But akesho, 何これ? Akesho. Hmm? Oh, it didn't pop up. So we have.
I think Akesho is the name of the school.
Oh. And then Akeni Sho is also the name of the school. They were separated by
Yeah,
gender.
because yeah, it appears to be. And Sho, it makes me think it's a school because it ends with Sho, the
Mm.
elementary.
I guess it's just interesting because like why it's like knee for the other one. That I guess that makes sense.
Too bright. Hmm.
Yeah. And it says, uh-huh. 学校体育の水泳大会の時、向こうのプールサイドで応援していたあずきとずっと見つめて会ってた。So there was a school competition of where they were doing a swimming contest, and it was really big. And I was on one side, Azuki was on the other side, and we were supposed to, and the whole entire time, I just stared right at Azuki, who was, cheering for whichever person that she's supposed to be cheering for at the pool. Um, Next bubble.
あの時はお互い恥ずかしいとか思わなかっただよな。That was the time where we both mutually felt embarrassed. Yeah, pretty much.
The opposite.
Oh, sorry. We both didn't think of being embarrassed.
Exactly. We just, sorry, the au
Yeah.
here, I didn't translate that right. That's probably why you're confused. Au means that I was staring straight at her and she was staring straight at me. It means we both people of the sentence are doing the same action.
Mm.
Uh, so both of them are supposed to be cheering on their teams who are in the competition, but what they were doing was just staring straight at each other. And neither of them felt embarrassed, even though they just went prolong eye contact, do 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 do, prolong eye contact, do 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 do. Versus now, right? They make eye
Yes.
contact for 2 seconds, absolutely embarrassed, can't even like handle it. But you're
Mm.
right, because it looks like they are entering the same school now. Good job. School names are so confusing. 中学の入学式の時、校門の前でまた目が合った。And then when we entered middle school, our eyes had met once again in front of the school gate. And the next bubble goes to you.
あの時は割と距離も近近かっただし、二人ともすぐ顔をそう向けた。So that time, let me just check it. Yeah, we were relatively close in terms of distance, like near, and we at the same time, or rather straight away, we looked away from each other.
Yeah, and the wadi, right, comparatively, is probably comparing to the previous situation we just described, which is the two of them staring at each other during the whole entire pool contest without even blinking and not feeling embarrassed at all, right? So we stare, you stare, going on for a long time. Then we're entering high school. They stare for a short time and quickly look away, right? They've gotten older to get embarrassed. なんだよ、小学生の時から意識し合ってた、つうか、付き合ってたんじゃん. He said, what? You're telling me that since you guys were both in elementary school, you were like conscious of each other? Wait, no, that you liked each other? That's crazy. でも、あくまでも今思うとなんだって。Um, However, when you're thinking it back, I like, what was that even about? Is kind of what that's saying. Next bubble
Mm.
goes to you.
まあいいけど、まあいいけど、いくら、あ、周波数あっても、メールアド交換しないと会話できねえぞ。It's like, but that's okay with hmm, with how many times you like with the extent of the frequency that um you came together like this, um it's no wonder why you couldn't uh get together and exchange email addresses. That's the first bubble. And the next one is like 周波数合わせて テレパシーで、話せるで、なら別だけど、um, if only you could speak with telepathy, I'm gonna guess that.
Yeah, that'd be a totally different story. So this part right here, you basically translated right, but I feel like the vibes were off, if that makes any sense. What it's
That's
saying,
fine.
right, is that well, whatever. Even if you're so synced up, you're not going to be able to talk to her and get her address. Well, it'd be a different story, of course,
Yeah.
if you had telepathy, right? He's basically making fun of him, is like the tone of this paragraph. But yeah, perfect as far as like the
Mm.
translation goes, I'd say. Um, メルアドは卒業までに交換できればいいよ。今は漫画. It says, man, it's fine as long as we, exchange, before we graduate. I really just gotta, focus on my manga right now. あ、そう。はい。5ページまで書けた。はい。はや. It says, well, okay, well, I wrote up to at page 5 then. He says, ooh, you're fast. And then the next panel goes to you.
タイトル W アース2つの地球
地
um
球。
so it's like yeah GQ so this is like he's saying what the title is and
はい。
it's called W Earth and it's the two Earths that's what he's trying to convey that's what it's called and then it's like W アースは食なそれはとって oh, joke. Okay, so W Earth is just a joke. Take it as that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pause here
And then
just because Double Earth
mm,
is like kind of like the next arc. It'd probably be good for Anthony to be there when we do that since just the two of us. Does that sound okay?
yeah, that's fine. In fact, I've actually read all the way to